Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Designer Taiwo. In today's tutorial, we are going to be learning how to draft and cut this beautiful short collar jacket with a keyhole at the side, and it is worn by Veekey James. I know you all might have seen it. If this is what you are interested in, definitely keep on watching, and also do well to subscribe, share and like my YouTube channel. Let's get started to the tutorial. So this is my pattern paper. First thing first, I'll be doing is drafting out my border line. Go ahead to draft your border line. This depends on, you can use 1 inch, half inch or 0.75. Please note we are drafting our back pattern first, because reason being, we want to get, when you are done, you have to get the total number of what you have for your neck. The total number of what you have for your neck part, that is what you use to get your front collar. Whatever you have for your neck, that is what you use to draft your front collar at the front. That is why we are starting with our back pattern. So I went ahead to draft another border line at the tip of our pattern paper. Can you see? Just go ahead to do yours, to draft yours. Just follow the way I am drafting mine. Done drafting my border line, I went ahead to draft my chest line. How do I get my chest line? Bust divided by 6, whatever answer you have, plus 1 plus 1.5. My bust is 38. 38 divided by 6 equals to 6.3 plus 1 plus 1.5. I have 8.8 altogether. I have 8.8 altogether. That is how I got my chest line. And the next thing I'll be drafting is my waistline, which is my half length for my back. As you all know, our front length is also always longer than our back length. My back length here is 14.5. So I went ahead to draft 14.5 for my back length. Just go ahead to draw your straight line for your back length. So the next thing I'll be drafting is my hip line. How do I get my hip line? From your waist to the fullest part of your hip. Whatever answer you have, that will be your hip line. So from my waist to the fullest part of my hip is 8 inch. So I went ahead to mark my 8 inch. Just watch and follow the way I am drafting mine. I went ahead to mark my 8 inches for my hip line. Just go ahead to draw a straight line for your hip line. So after I was done with my hip line, I went ahead to draft my gown length, and our gown length here that we are using is 13 inches for our gown length. Is 13 inches. We are just making a short gown length for the purpose of this tutorial. So it's 13 inches. I went ahead to mark my 13 inches. Just draw a straight line after you are done marking your 13 inches. So when I was done, and I went ahead to label. The next thing I will be working on is going up by 1.5 on my gown length. I'll go up by 1.5. Reason being, this jacket is going to be having a bust dart. It's going to have a bust dart, and the 1.5 we are going up with is, how do we get that? You will say front length minus your back half length. My front length is 16, my back half length is 14.5. so 16.5 minus 14.5, you have your 1.5. so you go ahead and mark. Please note, this is not necessary. You can decide to put bust dart on your jacket, and you can decide not to. It is optional. It depends on your choice. I just decided to use a bust dart technique for this jacket. You can just go ahead to use your normal gown length without minusing anything if you are not using your bust dart. For the front, just go ahead to use your normal measurement. It is allowed, but this jacket is going to have bust dart technique. That is why I am minusing that 1.5 at the gown length. That's why I went up by 1.5. The next thing I will be working on is my bust circumference, my waist circumference, my hip circumference, and my back circumference. Please note, the measurement, for every measurement you have, add 1 inch to it. Add 1 inch to it. You can see what I'm doing on the video. That is, my bust is 37. 37 plus 1 equals to 38. 38 divided by 4, you have 9 0.5. Please ensure you are adding 1 inch to every of your measurements that you are using. Your bust, your waist, your hip, add 1 inch to it for ease. You can see my waist now. My waist is 29 plus 1, 30 divided by 4. I have 7.5. That is my waist. For my hip, I have 39 as my hip for the normal measurement, plus 1 for his, which is 40 divided by 4, and we have 10. So the next thing I'll be working on is getting our shoulder. Same thing applies to shoulder. Please, I mistakenly wrote chest line at that part. Please, it's the shoulder I wanted to write. My shoulder is 7 plus 1 is 8. It is 8. So this is my new measurement now. So I'll go ahead to mark my shoulder. You can either call it shoulder or back, or your back. My back, the new measurement is 8. The real measurement is 7 plus 1 inch for ease. I'll go ahead to mark my 8. Then I'll draw a straight line. This is me trying to create my armhole. This is me trying to create my armhole. I'll go ahead to mark our neck. My neck is 3 inches for the width and 1 inch for the depth for the back. I'll go ahead to use my curve ruler to mark that. You can see the way I am placing my curve ruler. You can go ahead to place it right. Can you see the way I'm placing it? Just go ahead and place it like so. Then the next thing I will be drafting is my shoulder slope. My shoulder slope that I'm going down with is 0.5. You can use 1 inch for your shoulder slope. It depends on your choice. But why I'm using 0.5 is because I'm using a big shoulder pad. That's why I went down by 0.5. The next thing I will be working on is eliminating our back. My back, I'll go ahead to eliminate my back. On my waist, I'll go in by 0.75. 0.75, can you see? And I will draw a straight line from my neck depth down to my waist, and from my waist down to my hip, and that part is going out. That is why I'm marking that point. It is going out. Why we are doing this is to make our jacket at the back to lay well, to lay very flat. And the next thing I'll be working on is creating my armhole. I'm gonna ahead to draw a straight line at that part. Then I'll divide it into 2 for my back, and I'll go in by ½ inch. And draw a straight line. We are doing this to create my armhole. So I went ahead to pick my curve to curve that part. I hope you can see what I'm doing. The next thing now is for us to get our nipple to nipple. My nipple to nipple is 8. 8 divided by 2, you have 4. So I went ahead to mark 4 inch at that part, and I went to mark a straight line. That is that leg. Just measure your nipple to nipple, whatever you have, divide it by 2. Then I went ahead to mark 0.75 on each side on my that leg. This should be done on your waist. Just measure 0.75 on your waist. So the next thing I'll be working on is on my hip line. At this point, I'm just trying to draw the line down to my gown length. Then on my hip line, I went up by 1.5. Then I draw a straight line down to my waistline and down to that 1.5 which I went up with. Can you see? Just watch what I'm doing, you understand. So the next thing I'll be working on is my bust circumference, my waist circumference, and my hip circumference. As I've said, my bust is 37 plus 1 because 38 divided by 4, I have 9.5. I'll go ahead to mark 9.5 on my chest line. That is my bust circumference. So I'll go ahead to measure our waist. 29 plus 1 equals 30. 30 divided by 4, we have 7.5. We go ahead to measure our 7.5. Please, on your new line, go ahead to measure your 7.5. Then your dart, which is 0.75. When you plus it together, you have 1.5. You go ahead to add it back. That 1.5 back. Then we move ahead to my hip line. My hip is 39. 39 plus 1, I have 40. 40 divided by 4, I have 10. I'm just trying to show you what I am doing. So I'll go ahead to measure the 10. Whatever you have measured on your hip line, that is what you measure on your gown length. The 10 which you have measured on your hip line, you take it down to your gown length and measure. Then I went ahead to draw our line. Can you see what I am doing? Just go ahead to draft your line. So I went ahead to label my side back, my middle back, and the next thing I'll be drafting is my princess cut, my princess dart. This jacket will be having a princess dart. I came down by 2.5. I came down by 2.5, and I'll be drawing a straight line down to my chest line. This totally depends on you. If you want to use curve ruler or a straight ruler, it depends on you. So at that point where I came down by 2.5, I'll go out by 0.5, by 0.5 to create my new armhole. Just create a new armhole. Watch the process the way I am doing, and I hope you will get it. So create a new armhole at that point. Can you see? That is our new armhole. This is done to avoid shortage of armhole. Just to avoid shortage of armhole, then I went ahead to shade that part off. We'll be cutting that part off. The next thing I'll be working on is creating my keyhole. You know, the jacket is having a keyhole at the side, and on my waist I went up by 1.5, and on my waist I came down by 1.5, and I went in by 1.5. Can you see? Just watch the way I did the keyhole there. Come down by 1.5, go up by 1.5, and go in by 1.5 on your waist. Then I went out to draft a slanted straight line to create a keyhole for the back. If you watch the video well, the jacket is having a keyhole, so this is our keyhole for the back, pattern. So I'll go ahead to draft the front. I am done with the back, and this is all for the back. So this is our front pattern, and before starting your front pattern, at the tip of your paper, come down by 5 inch. When you come down by 5 inch, that will serve for your collar. The 5 inch we are coming down will serve as your collar, and draw a straight line from that 5 inch. As you can see, just draw a straight line. And the next thing is, at the other tip, you will come in by 5 inch. Just watch the way I'm doing. Come in by 5 inch, and that will serve for your lapel. That will serve for your button stand, and also the overlap that is at the waist side. If you watch the video and the picture of the jacket we are drafting, you will see the overlap at the waist side. Just go ahead to draw a straight line, and that straight line will serve for your border line, where you'll be doing all the necessary measurements from, where you'll be starting your measurements from. Just go ahead to draw a straight line. I hope you can see what I did. So that will serve for your border line. You'll be starting your measurements from that lines, the 2 lines you have drawn. Just watch the way I am drafting mine. The next thing is, go ahead to measure your sleeve length, your chest line, sorry. Go ahead to measure your chest line, which is 8.8, and rule your chest line. The next thing now I'll be working on is my bust point. My bust point is 10. I'll go ahead to mark 10 inch and draw a straight line. Go ahead to mark your bust point and draw a straight line. Just watch the process. The next thing I'll be working on is my half length. I'll go ahead to mark my half length. I said my front length is 16. You go ahead to mark your 16 inches is my front length. So I went ahead to mark my 16 inches for my front length. Just watch the process. The next thing I'll be working on, for my front length, I'll go ahead to measure my hip line, which I said whenever you are measuring your hip line, from your waist down to the fullest part of your hip. I went ahead to measure my hip line, which is 8. I went ahead to mark 8, and I draw a straight line. That is my hip line. And I went ahead to label my waist and my hip line. The next thing I will be working on is my gown length. So on that border line that I came down by 5 inch, I'll go ahead to measure my gown length, which is 30 inches. I went ahead to mark 30 inches for my gown length, and I drew a straight line. Just watch the process, you will get it. You surely get it. That is my gown length. So the next thing I will be working on is my button stand. I went out by 1 inch on my border line for my button stand. Please, I want you to note that it is not necessary for you to draft your button stand for overlap jacket or a breasted jacket. It is not necessary. I just did it for a guide, and you will see the reason why I had to put the button stand there as I proceed. Just watch me. But for a normal jacket, it is necessary for you to draft your button stand. So this draft is having an overlap jacket at the waist only. So I went ahead to draw out my 1 inch, and I went ahead to draw a straight line. The next thing I'll be working on is my shoulder. My shoulder is 8. Please check out where I'm measuring my height from. I went out by 8 inches for my shoulder and draw a straight line. For my neck width, I went out by 3 inch. For my neck depth, I came down by 3 inch, and I used my curving ruler to draw out my neck. And for the shoulder slope, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Can you see? Just watch the process, you get it right. I came down by 1 inch and draw a straight line for my shoulder slope. On my chest line, can you see my chest line? I went up by 3 inch for my chest line, and at that point that I went up with, I came in by 0.75 just to create my armhole. Just watch and you get it. I went ahead to use my curving ruler to create my armhole. Watch the process and you get it right. So the next thing I'll be working on is my dart. And I said my dart is 8, but when I divided it into 2, I have 4 inch. I went ahead to mark my 4 inch for my dart. Just watch me. I went ahead to mark my 4 inch for my dart. Can you see? And I will draw a straight line down to my gown length. I will draw a straight line down to my gown. So on my hip line length, I went up by 1.5. I went up by 1.5. Remember, we did that for the back also. I went up by 1.5, and on my waistline, I went out on the dart leg by 0.05, and also on the other dart leg by 0.75, and I draw a straight line from my bust point down to my waistline, and from my waistline down to my hip line. I hope you understand. Just watch what I did there. And the next thing I'll be doing now is taking my bust measurement. I went ahead to mark my bust measurement and also my waistline, just the way we did for the back. That is what you'll be doing. My waistline is 7.5 plus 0.75. We have 1.5. You return it back, the one you have taken away for the dart. The next thing is my hip measurement. Whatever you have for your hip, you go down and do the same for your gown length. So that is what I did, just the way we did for the back. That is what you do for the front also. Then I went ahead to row. All that I have done and all that I have marked. Just do the same and you get it right. So the next thing I'll be working on is my bust dart. How do we get our bust dart? Our front length minus our back length. My front length is 16 and my back length is 14.5. 16 minus 14.5, I will have 1.5 for my bust dart. So I went ahead to mark my 1.5 for my bust dart and rule. Can you see what I did there? And I went ahead to chew that part off so that it will not be short, to avoid shortage. So just go ahead to do the same as I have done, and I went ahead to rule to follow that path that I have traced out. Can you see the outcome? Just go ahead and do the same just to avoid shortage at that part. And the next thing I will be working on is my collar. So I'm working on my collar now, and before you start, you take your back. That's why I said we have to draft our back first. Measure all that you have for your neck at the back for your collar to get your front collar. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see the way I'm placing my table? Measure what you have on your back neck to get your collar. What I have for my back neck is 3.5. So I went ahead to mark my 3.5. And I draw a straight slanted line to my neck width. Don't allow it to be straight, let it be a bit slanted to your neck width. And I went out by 0.25. And I shaded that part. That 0.25 that you went out with, that is the line you'll be cutting out, and that is our new line now. Then I went ahead to mark 3.5 on that my 0.25 to create our collar again. Can you see? I went to draw a straight line. And also the next thing I will be working on my neck width, I went ahead to draw a straight line. But before doing that, on my waistline, I went up by 1 inch. I just decided to go up by 1 inch. For your collar, you can decide where you want your collar to stop. But I don't want mine to stop on my waistline. I went up by 1 inch. If you want your collar or your lapel to stop at your under bust, you can go ahead to do that. If you want to stop on your chest line, you can go ahead to do that. That is optional. Then I went ahead to draw a straight line from my neck width down to that 1 inch that I have marked. Because that is where I want my lapel to stop. Then I went ahead to draw a curve because it is a short collar jacket. Can you see? I went ahead to curve that part up. Can you see the way I am curving it? Just follow the way I am doing and you get it right. Because it's a short collar, I went to create a curve at that point, at that my 1 inch point. As I have said, you can decide where you want yours to stop. Just decide where you want yours to stop. And the next thing now I'll be doing is I went ahead to shade where we cut off. That part I'm shading, we are cutting them out. And the next thing I will be drafting is, if you notice on the video that I displayed, it's having an overlap at the waist side. So I went ahead at that my 1 inch mark, and where my short collar stop, I went out by 2 inch. And I create a curvy shape at that point. Just watch what I am doing. Just follow what I am doing and get it right. Create a curvy shape. I don't want it to be straight. I went ahead to create a curvy shape, and I came down at that point where I have marked my 2 inch. I came down by 1.5 inch. And I draw a straight curvy shape at that point. I don't want it straight. I drew a curvy shape at that point. Can you see what I am doing? Just follow suit and you will get it right. Just watch what I am doing. And at that point that I came down by 1.5, I went ahead to draw my shape, because if you look at that jacket, well, it has a curvy shape. I went ahead to curve that part. I went ahead to curve that part. Can you see the way I'm placing my curvy ruler? I went ahead to curve that part to create my jacket opening. Can you see? It is very easy and simple. Our jacket is just having an overlap at the waist side, as I've said earlier. Can you see? It's having overlap at the waist side. This is what I did, and we are almost done. Remember, for the back we did a keyhole at the waist side. We will do the same thing at the front, at the waist side. At the front, I also came up by 1.5 and I went down by 1.5 and I went in by 1.5 on the waistline also. Then I went ahead to draw a straight slanted line to that 1.5 I went in with, and I drew a straight line also to that 1.5 I went in with. Can you see? Just watch the process that I did. That is the keyhole for the front, and I went ahead to curve that part up a bit because I don't want that side to be sharp, and I went ahead to shade that part up because we are cutting it off. And the next thing now I will be drafting is creating my princess cut, just the way I have done for the back. Creating my princess cut, and I came down by 2.5, just the way I have done for the back. I came down by 2.5 and I draw a straight slanted line to that point, to my bust point. I drew a straight slanted line, and at that point that I came down by 2.5, I went out by 0.5 to create another armhole. And I used my curve ruler to curve that part up to create our new armhole. Just watch the process and you will get it right. Can you see my new armhole? And we are done. And I went ahead to label my side front, my middle front, my collar, or you either call it lapel, my collar, and this is all for the front. I'll be going ahead to cut the back and the front out now. So I'll be cutting the front first before cutting the back. I just want you to watch the process of the cutting. Just watch the process and you get it. And you get it right. Just watch the way I'll be cutting it and you will surely get it. am taping it down. Reason being, we have cut out the 1.5 for the back. You know the 1.5 we cut out for the back, that is the 1.5 I am taping down for the bust. That should ensure you tape yours down like so. And this is all for the front. I'll be moving ahead to the back. So for the back pattern, just follow the way I'll be cutting it. It's very simple. Just follow the way I'll be cutting it, then I will show you the final outcome. Everything so together so you can pattern see. This is how our front is looking. Can you see our shock collar? When I went to place tape everything down, this is how it should look. The side, add 1 inch or 1.5 inch to the side, and to the remaining part half inch to the remaining part. And this is the back pattern. Can you see the look, the final outcome of the back pattern? And this is how your pattern should be looking like. And when I went to join them together, this is what it looks like. Can you see? When I went to place them together, just make sure you had 1 inch 1.5 allowance to the side, and to the remaining part you had half inch to the remaining part. And to the down part, if you want to add 1 inch for the turning, it's fine, or half inch, it's fine. And this is the final look of all that we have drafted, of what I have drafted. Thank you for watching. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Do well to subscribe.